everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different and I'm going to be doing a voiceover plan with me. I realised that the last time I did a plan with me I kind of was a bit too distracted, and I figured this would allow me to kind of plan in my usual way and then just do the voiceover and hopefully talk through what I'm doing and when, probably a little bit better than when I'm doing it. I'm great at multitasking sometimes and other times I fail miserably. So I am still in my Hobonichi weeks and still using this basically as a bullet journal and absolutely loving it. I kind of go between a couple of different layouts. I will either use a full-on kit or I'll do something very simple. This week I'm just doing a simple kind of functional layout, so I thought it would be a good time to do the plan with me, kind of show you in a bit more detail how I set everything up, talk a little bit more about how I use it, and hopefully if you watched the video where I kind of talked through how I use my Hobonichi weeks and you had kind of any queries around, any of the functional bits of it, hopefully this will kind of solve it for you. So to begin with, I am just basically carving out the pages. I am using a fine liner, so this is part of a set that I picked up the other week of more muted fine liners. I love these Stabilo ones, they are my favourite. I have millions of them and have added some beautiful muted tones, so itching to use one of the new pens, so dug one of those out and a matching washi tape and then some matching stickers. So all I've done there is lined out the kind of 3 columns that I have for the sections, and then the bottom bits on the right hand page for things that I'm waiting on and kind of non-date specific to-dos. In terms of the actual, putting pen to paper, as you will have just seen, I showed off my passport TN and the monthly view there, so I have that out. Although I have my plans on the monthly view of the weeks, obviously I don't want to flip back and forth, it annoys me, so I have my passport TN out on the monthly page because it's all been fully synced, and then use that to reference any events. All events go in the first column because the first column is everything life, so events and life and home tasks go in this first column. And I'll just write those in. I won't kind of pay any mind in terms of, where they go according to what time of day. They just go in there in the first line, basically in order, because I, will read all of it throughout the day. Next, for everything else that's kind of timed, is my social media calendar. So that's in my Hobonichi cousin, and there at the start of every month I plan out my Instagram posts and YouTube videos for the month. So in here all I'm doing is writing in the Instagram post of the day that needs to be posted, and doing that across the week. I realised halfway through this that my pen ink was dying in my Hobonichi pen, which is weird because the bulk of the pen was still left, but it looks quite faded and kind of crappy towards the end, so I do go and change the ink at the end, because I couldn't have continued with it like that, and then realised that the refills that I bought were too thick, so I had to dig out another Hobonichi pen. So I'm now officially kind of running out, so I need the 1st of September to come along so I can get some more pens. I digress and move on to my next bit of planning, which is everything that I'm waiting on. So this box is for everything in terms of emails or letters or happy mail that I'm waiting on. I like to have that visually on my weekly spread. I don't like having separate happy mail trackers or anything like that. I don't use them, I don't reference them enough. I like having it there. So I'm just moving everything over from the previous week that is still outstanding. Some weeks there'll be loads, some weeks there'll be literally a handful. I suppose it depends on how much money I've been spending. And that's kind of the first task of migration that I do when setting up my week. The second task is then just looking at anything that is outstanding from the previous week. I try not to leave too much open, and I think on this week I think I've left like one thing, which is a good week for me, so I'll just migrate that over. And everything, it depends. So that one I have migrated over into my any time of the week box, so that's for tasks that don't have a specific day. It was just an idea that I had last week, which is why it went into the non-date specific box. There may be tasks sometimes that need to be migrated that need to happen on a certain day, for instance, but other than that, that's all that kind of migration that happens. Next, I'll then look at my monthly spread in my weeks, because that's got monthly tasks that will need doing. So sometimes there'll be certain things like certain bills I need paying or certain things that I need to do that I will jot down on my monthly spread because it's got that little area for kind of tasks or whatever you want to use it for. So what I'll do is reference that and see if there's any tasks that need to be done and need to be, filled in that weekly spread. I then will look at my weekly habit tracker. So I have certain tasks that need to be done once a week, generally chores, but also things like I try and do a YouTube video a week, I try and do new release of the shop, etc. So I'll then use that as a bit of a prompt to go in and fill those parts of the left-hand page. So all I'm doing here is kind of jotting in the weekly tasks that need to be done and kind of spreading them out across the week in terms of when I last did them or when I know I'll get a chance to do them, or certain things like my budget check-in I do every Friday. It's just the day that I do it. I realised that I spoke about my first column being for life, but didn't mention about the other two columns. So the middle column is everything shop related, and the right hand column is everything content related. So anything YouTube or blog goes in there. I'm now just filling in basically the days with things that I know I need to do. So I've migrated everything over, I've written everything in that's kind of regular tasks, and I'm now just going through and basically emptying my brain with everything that needs to be done this week. Well, it won't be everything, but it's everything that's in my brain at that moment in time that needs to be done for this week. So I know that on Monday I've got orders to do, so I filled that into the middle column. I know that will spill over into Tuesday because there's quite a few, so I've written that in. Other kind of life tasks that need to be done, content tasks, so I know what I need to film or edit, etc. All of that goes into the left hand page. It will kind of look quite bare bones to begin with. This is kind of my initial setup time, so this is a very quick under 10-minute setup just to kind of get as much as I can out of my brain, lay out the week and feel organised. I'll then just start kind of adding to it over the days across the week, and so by the end of the week this will look a lot more full. And then once I kind of get into the week, so normally I'll do this kind of Saturday or Sunday, then once I get into the week I will move over to using the daily logs. So once we get into Monday, I won't add anything into Monday. I will only use the daily log, but if something comes up on Monday for say Wednesday, it will get added to the left hand page under Wednesday, and that's how I kind of manage the layout and the tracking of it. So I'm effectively having to look in two different places, on the left hand page and the right hand page, but I'm finding that it works for me because it allows me to pre-plan in a way that bullet journaling, traditional bullet journaling doesn't, but then also allowing me to do bullet journaling. I then will just add in a sticker. So these are just some stickers from my stash from the shop of just kind of some simple shapes in these nice muted green colours, and I'll just set up Monday, and by set up it is literally a sticker and writing the date, and that's all I do. But I like having that kind of sticker so I can quickly see at a glance where my days are and split them out quite nicely.